Dungeons & Dragons can be a great way to spend time hanging out with your friends while weaving a story together. Though sometimes there are people that take what happens in-game way too seriously out of game, much like what happened in the next D&D horror story. So sit back, relax, remember to subscribe to the channel, and let's hop right into the story. Special thanks to Reddit user Cristolio92 for allowing me to narrate their story. A link to the original post will be located in the description. DM plays a villain too well and ends up causing the party to disband. So, I started playing in my first D&D campaign about a year ago. It was my very first campaign, and I was going to be in my friend's new homebrew he had been making. I was very new, but I was eager to learn and have some fun with my friends, and hopefully make a few new ones. That, didn't go so well. There were 5 players in total when the campaign started. I played an ASMR paladin who had been ridiculed by his peers all of his life, and cast out of his church for not living up to their high standards. And for the rest of the cast, we had my friend who's DM, a Warforged druid, a horny tabaxi bard who was problem player 1, and 2 tieflings, the second problem player being one of them. And they were also a horny bard. Funny coincidence. And lastly, my other good friend who was a warlock. When we first started, things were going great for the most part. We were having a lot of fun, friends were being made as I had hoped, and after a while, I even got into a short-lived relationship with the girl who played the Tabaxi Bard. That was mistake number 1. You see, she had a problem with how everyone else played their characters most of the time. She, for some reason, has it in her head that you must follow your alignment or you're playing your character wrong. And whenever one person would have the spotlight for too long, to the phone she goes. Now, the second problem player, her friend, was 18 or 19 at the time, but unfortunately has the maturity level of a 14-year-old at best. Starting out, he hardly said much of anything for the first few sessions. But that was about to change real fast. After the party realized that my character has been expelled from his church, and was ridiculed for his whole life for not living up to the high standards that an ASMR paladin would have, Problem Player 2 decides to tease and berate my character every single chance he gets. Every single day. Now, I designed my character a lot like how I was back when I was still being bullied and beaten at school. I wanted to play a character who wanted to be accepted by his peers, only to learn that he didn't have to prove anything to them. Basically, my real-life character arc, only much more dramatic. Problem Player 2, however, perhaps knowingly, takes it upon himself to be a thorn in my side at every given opportunity. Which is fine for the most part. Fine, but annoying. I am a grown adult now and I don't mind it. But my character? Nuh-uh. There was a lot of friction in the party because of that. The player who played the druid, however, was the heart of the party. He kept us together, but real life caught up to him and he had to drop out. It was around this time I broke up with the girl that was playing the Tabaxi Bard. Not D&D related though. We agreed to leave our feelings out of D&D, so we could still play together with everyone and have fun. Mistake number 2. Now it was just the 4 of us. By this time in the campaign, we had a Rakshasa who was spying on us, trying to either defeat us or to split us up. He unfortunately elected to do the latter. My character was really getting tired of getting his butt kicked, and wanted to become more powerful to give it to the demons, and prove his peers wrong about him. And so, the sly Rakshasa found a weak point in our party. He showed up to us and offered my character a set of magical armor. This armor was very obviously cursed. It was inspired by the Berserker armor, so, needless to say, it was a gamble to take it. My character, however, wanted the power-up, and was willing to trade with him to get it. All he had to do was agree to not get in the Raksasa's way. It was a ploy just to get the party fighting amongst themselves. Spoiler alert, he succeeded. My paladin promised he'd take the armor and wouldn't bother him. He said this with his fingers behind his back, and the DM asked for a deception check. Natural 20. However, problem players 1 and 2 had a problem with this. You're supposed to be an ASMR. You can't do anything evil. What are you doing? This is basically what I heard from them for the next 20 minutes. Me and my warlock friend argued that you can change alignments, and that it's necessary to have character growth. I even told them that I'm just taking it so I can double-cross this guy. They wouldn't have any of it. Finally arguing for a while, I give up trying to reason with them and just say, I move towards the armor and start putting it on. And wouldn't you know it, they don't do a thing in character to try to stop me. They were so adamant that I don't take the armor, and had an out-of-character discussion about it for 20 minutes, but didn't do anything in character to stop me. But eventually, I put on the armor and our DM tells me, "You feel your anger and hatred swirling inside you. You feel like you'll lose control. Roll a wisdom saving throw." I fail. And that's mistake number 3. First I charged at the Rakshasa, who disappears before I strike. Disappointed and still feeling the burning hatred from the armor, I turn from the party and start walking back to the house we were staying at to cool down. And that's when problem player 2 says, "Fucking idiot, of course he was going to disappear." Now, DM told me that I had to start acting angry when I failed my check. And boy, I'll admit, it was pretty easy to at that point. My character let everything out. He called him an idiot back, said he was never a friend, and that he was just using him as a meat shield. In character, mind you, but it was the truth. And he took it personally. He stormed away, both IRL and in character. After that, my friend, God bless her, sided with me and told him that if they wanted to stop me, they could have stopped me when I went to go to put the armor on. They could have, played the game. But by that point, the bridge was already burned. All the other problems we had with each other had boiled over into the actual game. The final straw was when they called our DM and asked if he could run separate sessions for the two of them for a while. He politely declined. So that's how our DM accidentally ended his own campaign. Not by some climatic boss fight or by TPK. Nope, just by playing a sly villain a little too well. TLDR, don't date the horny tabaxi bard girl. It certainly sounds like some personal issues did boil its way from real life and into the game, and vice versa. It was admirable for OP and Tabaxi Bard Girl to try put their differences aside after their breakup for the sake of the game, but sometimes that can just lead to old wounds reopening, which sounds like what happened here. If you have a story you would like narrated, be sure to post it in the comments or on the channel subreddit r/DNDDoge. You can also contact me on Twitter at DNDDoge. If you enjoyed this video, giving it a like really does help the channel out a great deal. As always, I appreciate all of you, and may all of your rolls be natural 20. Till next time.